There we go. All right, mic's working. Perfect. Make sure everyone in the Discord is in here. Alrighty. Sorry, just double checking the stream is good. Alrighty. Stream. There we go. Alrighty, let's see what is going on. Woo, fun day in the market. Taking a look. We did a CSP on Iren so far today. We did just get out of the before close yesterday. We got out of ONDS. Let's take a look. See who else is joining us before I get too into everything. Just letting everyone know we are live. Trickling back on the ONDS, smaller time frames. What about Iran? Do we get any? Trickling back, 15 minutes. There we go. Yeah, so I did a CSP. Did you see the CSP of what I did? Yeah, so I did for this Friday. Really, I'm thinking that we're gonna get some sort of a quick recovery. I also did it for $38 strike price, which would be really undervalued, I would think. So I don't even know what I didn't even look. Let me see what the delta was. I just knew it was far away. Like I was like, well, before I was willing to own the stock for 45 and this is going to let me own it for 36. So like why wouldn't I do it? Was my thought. Um so delta on that one was 38 for this Friday. Was a 15 delta. So like super safe. I think it was this Friday. Alrighty. So let me see. 38. Oh, I messed that one up actually. I was going too fast. I was too excited. I thought I clicked on there, but it must have had the wrong date. That was February 20th. Oh, snap. All right, well, when we get back to green, I'll go ahead and get out of that one. It was meant for this Friday. Man, going too fast. Got too excited when I saw the premium, and that's because it was for February 20th, not February. Meant for this Friday, 38. Because it's $1 and change. I just wanted to make some quick buck just for the week. I don't think it gets to 38 by the end of this week. 38 is also where we see a big amount of support from the previous December drop. So I mean, ultimately, I'll be okay. We'll see some sort of recovery. It won't just stay down. Usually, there's a somewhat of a relief bounce somewhere in the day. So that's when I'll just take advantage of that, get out of the option, take the win, take a percentage of the win. Um, but thank you for making me check that. I did the CSP on Iran, but apparently I did the wrong date. So not super happy I did that, but I planned on just doing it this Friday for $38 strike price. Um, I have no problem with Iran at 38. I think 38's an amazing deal for it. I mean, man, look at all this support right here at 33 would be the low of December. 38's right here in this little pullback area. We're gonna see, but I'm good with 38. If I got assigned, like I was willing to own it for 45, right? Like I was did the 50 strike, and then premium put me at 45. This now needs to get to 38, and I'll get to own it for 36. So I don't have a problem with IREN long term, um, running it that way. Oops, let me get that off the screen. What questions you guys got? What else you guys kind of looking at? I mean, there's a bunch, but right now the market as a whole, it just hasn't been. It's been strong, but it's been shaky. There's been constant days like this. We closed our ONDS position yesterday in the mid 11s, and now we're just pulling back again. Let me take a look here. Working on the strategy report as well. Um, take a look here. Since ONDS began, 30 trades, 5 losses. Average profit is about 337%. Again, this is even trading it back before we even were paying attention to it. So tough to say if you would have really been trading this. It really didn't become anyone's interest until recently, right? So got to take that into account. Let me go back to this, see if you guys have anything on the chats. Any buying opportunities? I mean, dude, take your pick. There's tons of buying opportunities out there. Today would be a CSP day, probably for SoFi if you can get a good premium for 19. I think Hood with the crypto battle for Hood could go down further. Hims, you got good news and the stock went red. I mean, there's another opportunity to just dive in a little bit deeper if you wanted to. EOSE is going to be one, but it needs to hold this support here. But EOSE, I'm pretty excited about long term. There you go, 100% trade based on following the strategy. So, buying on diamonds and selling on diamonds, you'll win. That's all you got to do. Any specific ones you guys want me to look at? As of right now, there's only 2 of you guys in here. So, Cypher. I don't like Cypher not holding support. I think Cypher could go to 11, so I'm not really touching it. Iran out of all of them is my favorite as far as structure goes. So, yeah, Cypher, I think 13 is the first support, and then if you lose that, we go to 11. And that's based off of Fibonacci's. Let me just make this smaller. So if you take that whole run from here to here, you get 1263, and then you want to add this one. I mean, that's lining up right with that moving average. So this is if the market does a correction, we most likely see this. But just can't lose this. If we lose this, the whole thing loses structure. So that's why you need it to hold 13. Yep, break even right there at the 11. Well, why didn't you guys tell me that? I was talking about the whole time. There we go. Yeah, so I initially wanted to do this Friday CSP on IREN, but clearly I messed up and I did February 20th. Um, I'm bullish for IREN long term. I have a price target of about 100, 150. Um, so overall bullish. I want to own shares. And where the support is, like if you take a look, right, I have a 38 strike. Okay. That is well here in this support. Okay. Plenty of support. My ultimate plan is we see a rebound sometime this week, or maybe even today, and I close it for a majority of profit. Um, if we go down, I'm gonna get to own it for 36, which is gonna be right here where this last ad was anyway. And I don't mind owning IREN for 36. With our long-term data centers are gonna go a lot higher than they currently are. It's just accumulating correctly. If you bought here on this most recent run, you wouldn't be upset, right? So the goal is to basically accumulate here. Um, February 20th is just a main monthly date, but like I said, I meant to do this Friday 38 strike, because I just don't think it'll get to 38 within a week, and I was just going to make some quick money, not really worry too much, and basically not be in the market. And if I did get a sign, that would just be a really quick drop. But with it being February 20th, we can just roll and I can better my situation if we go into a correction. No matter what, I want to own IREN, so I don't mind being in this CSP. But if we can make a quick buck just day trading it, but the reason I'm doing CSPs right now in this market is because of the volatility. On these big red days, you can do CSPs. Make sure you want to own the stock for whatever you're setting it for. But you know, if it goes and does a recovery, take your wins because the next day, just like yesterday was super green for the most part, I went ahead, took my wins off the table, and then today, red, go ahead and place them again. We'll see a recovery at some sort. I don't know if we're currently up on this position right now, but I'm going to take a look right now. Let's see. So if I go to buy to close, I know I didn't get it for a great price because I was thinking that it was a different price, but so right now I'm at break even. We're going to see momentum shifting. Okay. Let's click out of this. You can see the momentum histogram is now heading back towards the middle. So let's see if we can carry this momentum, get a nice little bounce. Go ahead and take a couple $100 profit maybe. Um, so yeah, I'll do it that way. And if you have it CSP, like I said, you can protect yourself by rolling. So I'm never too worried about being in the market, if my goal is to actually own the stock eventually. Does that make sense? Does that answer, or is there anything specific? I like February 20th for IREN. That's what we did. Just like that's what I've been doing. March 20th is just a little too far out. And if we get a quicker recovery here, then we should collect the majority of the CSP within a day. But everything took a pretty big hit this morning. Let's see where's our bonds at here. Yeah, bond market. Gold going up, silver going back up, crypto going back down. And the overall markets are green. Okay. I just don't. I don't know. I manage your positions, but this is just like, the SPY is like nearly 40% the Mag 7. So it's like if the Mag 7 are up, the markets are up, but the markets overall are just bloody. Him's going back to green. All right, we're going to get that midday bounce here, it looks like. We are in the IREN CSP. What's up, Sports Alert? Nice. Yeah, I think long-term data centers, you're going to be just fine. ONDS is another one that we're looking into. I think today would be a great day for CSP. The reason I'm having trouble with this one is on our weekly time frame, big picture, momentum is decreasing significantly. If we go to IREN overall, we are still bullish. So this could just be one like little small pullback like we did here, right? Little pullback and then we go higher. But overall, we were bullish. Here, we flipped, but ONDS for me is trended to the negative side. So I've just been kind of swinging the CSPs on ONDS more than I'm looking to hold. I would roll it if I was, about to get a sign maybe on ONDS. Let's see here. Nibius, same thing. Still weekly momentum is trending down. Cypher trending down. So IREN's the only one that I'm more bullish on right now for data centers with their earnings. Again, CSP at 38, I'm comfortable owning at this bottom right here. Could we get to the 26? Yes, if the whole market does a correction. Do I want that? No. But with a CSP, we could roll and completely adjust our cost of ownership and kick the can down the road and better our situation. So I'm comfortable having the money sitting in a CSP. And if it recovers, then we still made some money. We didn't miss out on any of the return. So that's the reason behind doing it for Iran. Yeah, we're all ready for this market to turn. Doesn't look like I'll be getting out of my SoFi. Still holding our bull bear line. And if you take a look here, I'm working on finalizing the strategy. Um, but if you take a look and follow the strategy, um, 26 trades, we had 24 wins and 2 losses. Average loss was a 2.3%. Average profit was 100% return. Take a look at ASTS. Update the report. 37 wins, 4 losses. Rocket Lab. 28 wins, 1 loss. Hymns. 51 wins, 5 losses. Average loss of 2%. Average profit 105%. I don't know, Archer. And again, this isn't even fully done because I do want to tell them not to, or tell the strategy not to buy on these neutral zones as much. So I'm trying to work on that like this one. Like I wouldn't want this to happen. So I'm working on that. Again, I wouldn't buy this one. That's a neutral zone. This one, I would want to buy this one. So the neutral zone candles, I need them to remove. So I'm working on that. So that would make our trade wins even better. Let's see here. Any other stocks you guys are looking at? You said you closed your AMD covered call. Nice. Yeah, they had good earnings, but their guidance was bad, right? Yeah, I mean, we got our trim up here. Sure enough, nice little drop. We do see a good amount of support, so good job closing your CSP or your covered call on support. Let's see here. I mean, look at AMD. That's a lot of trades. A lot of trades for a stock. Jeez Louise. But still an 80% win rate, 404, 106, and I'm sure it all came during their down year. Look how many trades. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it came during this time. During the beginning stages, 2001, like when we weren't really focused on the stock, so always tough to determine when you would have been trading it, but this is the history, the whole lifespan of AMD. You would be an 80% win rate with AMD. Let's see here. Still going down. But again, like I said, 38's really hard to imagine it getting back down there without the whole market kind of doing something. Any questions or anything on CSPs or anything, I guess? Strategy questions? Still in work in progress to finalize that, but it's almost there. EOSE coming down to the support trend line that it's been following. Don't want to lose that. Take a look. EOSE with 100% trade win rate. Come on. I want to see this reversal. Cypher getting beat down and living a little more. Let's see, 30-minute time frame is now going lower. We're still in the first hour of the market. And now we're in the second hour. What's going on? Any questions, Sub? Just go ahead and put it in the chat. There we go. ONDS in the 9s now. Losing support. Yep. Iran, I think, with their earnings, could completely reverse this. And it's also another reason why I took it. And now we're resting on this nice little support shelf we have right here. 45 people were calling for, so we're going to see if we hit that 45 mark. Let's look at Tim. We lost support. Don't love it. Momentum still decreasing. Momentum back to increasing downward. I would give this one a minute. Yeah, give that one a minute. Oof. Like I said, I put a note on there when I did my CSP that I might even add more to that CSP. And ONDS still has a little bit more to go to get to the trend line. Iran is on the trend line right now. But I still think 45, just because of the mental human number of 45, it could see and then bounce off. We're going to see how much blood gets shed today. SoFi 4%. HIMS went red. We thought we were going to see finally the turnaround. The market took HIMS down with the good news. Netflix is green. Yeah, just slightly green, yet momentum is still shifting downwards. So I wouldn't say this is the bottom yet. Where's the weekly? Still kind of flat with the last week's momentum as well. Again, just waiting on that weekly confirmation for Netflix. We don't get too many, but when we do get them, they're pretty significant buy opportunities. So just waiting on that weekly confirmation for Netflix. Wow. Like I said, glad that we closed our CSPs yesterday that we did, so that way we had cash ready for a day like today. Completely bettered our situation for sure. Yeah, so philosophy on taking a loss. One, you need to know what you're gonna do with that money next. Is the main thing. Like, let me pull up a little chart real quick. should be one somewhere. Let's see. I can drop this on the chart. Yeah, I can. Alrighty. So in order to make back your gains, these are what you got to accomplish. So if you take a 40% loss, you need to make a 67% gain with the same amount of capital. So like if you know had $1,000 and you took a 40% loss on it, right? So you would need to take that loss amount that you have, the remaining $600, and you need to get a 67% return with that $600 to make back your 40% loss. So if I know what I'm going to do and make a play, basically, if I'm going to lose 40% on a stock, um, for example, like the Fubo, right? You lose 40% on a stock. Okay, well, now I need to take that capital and I need to put it somewhere where I think I can get a 67% return. Doesn't have to happen all at once, but that's like the mindset, right? So where can I take these losses and put them towards another company that I believe in way more, that I think can get there a lot faster, um, and make my money back? Um, if I don't believe in the company anymore or something like that, that's when my like Fubo, for example, right? Like you didn't want to give us an updated guidance. And you're going to do a reverse split, like management keeps letting you down, like that's when my mindset of the company completely changes. For example, like Hims has given me no reason to not believe in the company, and what they're doing and what the management team is doing. So therefore, I wouldn't sell this company as of right now for a loss of any sort. Like they haven't given me any reason. The company, the price is going down, but fundamentals are staying where they're at or improving. So it doesn't give me any reason to go ahead and take that execution of a loss. Um, I don't personally set stop losses, just because if I believe in a company, I believe in it. Whether or not big institutions and something like that may be manipulating it doesn't change the thought process and the like everything that I believe in the company. As we can see, Bank of America can give a downgrade on HIMS, but yet they buy um, 5 million shares or something like that. Like they'll just manipulate the stock. So therefore, I don't believe in my stop losses, um, which can get me in trouble sometimes. And sometimes I'm willing to hold through some noise. But if we just go ahead and follow diamond opportunities, now diamonds obviously don't always work when it comes to the wheel strategy. So you do need to find a nice blend. So the same way you asked kind of about the IREN thing, is last time we got that buying opportunity for IREN, was down here in these 38s. So I'm looking for a CSP in that range. And I know that it will be considered undervalued at that time around this price range. So I'm okay doing a CSP there. Does that make sense? Did that help you with your losses question as well? Yep. All I did to find this chart was just looking up on Google, or unless you want to screenshot the video. But if you just wanted to keep an eye on like what that, I just typed in stock market loss to make back profit, and then there's usually a couple of them on there. I can probably load it into the Discord as well. Um, but yeah, just got to realize what your losses are going to be, and that's what you need to make back. So, for example, the question, I'm not doing it, but I have in the back of my mind for like if crypto, but I, again, the administration for everything crypto, right? So we talked about ASST. I'm sure that's gone through your mind maybe now at this point. Um, is it worth taking the loss on ASST? Well, again, I don't know what your cost of ownership is, but 50%, loss, I need to double my money. Where am I going to put the money? Like, I think ONDS and IREN would be the two that I would probably put my money into for a double up. Do I think they can double before I think, essentially, if you're 50% down, that you think that ASST can double, right? So that's your debate in your head. Which one do I think can double first? Which I've thought about. For me, it'd be SBET. Like SBET has gone down a significant amount, but that's because Ethereum's gone down. So do I think Ethereum's going to recover, or do I think that I need to take those funds and put them directly into ONDS because it's a good buy, or do I think I need to put it into IREN because it's a good buy? And then if you do that, then you just need to wait for that double up to happen. Obviously, if you get to 35%, take it and then put it to something else, you can do that. But to keep it simple, one stock to one stock. Nvidius, Navitas. Yep, we said the pullback was coming. We hit the little trims, pulling back. Yep, getting attractive. For sure. When do they have earnings or anything? They have earnings in 28 days. Momentum is trickling. We do have positive. It is getting very close to becoming negative. I think Navitas is great. I think that you could probably do some CSPs on them. Let's see here. Just keeping an eye on IREN and no one DS. Let me see here. Navitas. Actually, it'd probably be easier if I show you guys what I'm looking at. So if I go to trade options, sell, put, we'll start with February 20th as being the minimum, or unless you wanted some weekly money this week, but for the most part, it'd be February 20th. I mean, $7 I would feel comfortable with. Only a 17 delta. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna go much lower actually. 7, but seven's the base. So like 7 would be the safe route to go with, and then to be like more aggressive route would be the $8 one. I guess you could do 750 if you want to do the middle ground, but either way you can roll. That's a good part about, like I said, CSPs. As long as you like the company long term, you just go ahead and roll and you'll be just fine. But 7 would be the safe, and then 8 would be, and then if you wanted to, you could go the March route. You'll get more premium. Probably just roll with the 7. Go the safer route on the March one. But again, you could do the February 20th and then roll to March. That's why I did IREN. Again, I wanted to do IREN for the week, but thinking about it, February 20th is fine. I can roll to March. We get closer to March, the stock is still down. We go ahead and roll to April, and then hopefully see some sort of recovery by then if this is the market's taking its turn for the worse. All right. Good amount of support happening for Iran as of right now in this area. I have a hard time believing with their earnings tomorrow that they are going to finish the day like this. If we finish the day fairly close to break even, not on my CSP, but just in general on the day, like we can see a nice recovery of about like 10%, and we only end 3.5% down on the day, I would close my CSP and not even risk the earnings report. Obviously, I can miss out and make some money if earnings is good. Yes, I agree. But as of right now, it's been working out, taking the small wins with this market. So. Let's see here. Sorry. This is dumb. Everything is, yeah. I just got people messaging me saying this is dumb. Why is everything getting wiped? Again, the job data, the private job data did not come out right. We have bond markets going higher, which is not good. You have gold and silver increasing. You have crypto decreasing. You have the dollar gaining strength, which is, again, dollar gaining strength is such a mixed signal. Yeah, the VIX back to 18. It's been staying in this uptrend here for some time now, ever since December. So even though December was our low and the markets have gone higher, the VIX has also gone higher, which is would be considered, I guess, since the VIX is opposite a bearish divergence. Bearish for the market, bullish for the VIX. Let's see here. There's your energy, Jin. Good job. SMCI. I'm still not going to touch you. I don't care. You know, some companies you just don't trust anymore. That's a company that I just don't trust anymore. Trying to see here. Cypher in these 13s. I want Cypher. If you don't, do you guys know the difference between Cypher and Iren? Because my uncle works a lot with these data centers, and not as far as like works with them in their business model, but as far as building out the actual buildings and setting them up and everything. Um, and he believes that the business model that Cypher runs is a better business model than Iren, as far as renting out your space and letting others operate it, opposed to Iren just owning it, operating, and then selling, you know, the the product itself. So they're like a landlord and they own a home. That's just kind of like the easy way of putting it. So, all right, Miguel, no worries. Um, so that's why I like owning both of these. They both have different models for data centers. Um, that's why I'm gonna own both of these. Is my plan, Cipher and Iren. Um, I know a lot of people who own Iren in this 45, in this 50 range. Um, so me owning Iren in the 30s, I'm good with. I feel confident. And again, you can say, "Oh yeah, well the stock used to be $8." It's the stock was $8 when the company wasn't where it is today. So don't think that it'll go back to 8 exactly, but a market correction, could we see somewhere in these 20s, high 20s, low 30s? Yeah, we could. And if that happened again before February 20th, I roll out till March 20th and I go ahead and keep the same strike, collect a little bit more premium, and that goes ahead and betters my ownership. Sorry, yawning. What else you guys got? Any more questions or anything like that? Any stocks you guys are looking at? I do not Bloom Energy. Yeah, BE. It's been a top stock to be. I think any energy. I have a hard time thinking that you're gonna have a bad time in an energy play. Yeah, looks you got another red diamond. It looks like overall this consensus for this one is gonna be downward momentum. So if you just take a look, I mean that's pretty. This is why I like this histogram. It's pretty easy to see like big picture here, right? Like, cool, we're going down. So let me go ahead and take some of these wins when I can. Momentum is still showing down. There's nothing saying, even on this like little reverse pop, it's just a day of popping, which is fine. But if you see that this overall trend is happening and you still have some shares and you get a little pop, right? This little pop here, but the overall momentum told you it's going down, sell some on the pop. Okay. You don't have to wait for the diamond, but wait for the pop. Okay. Um, Iran. Cipher. Man, they're still going. I'm very curious on anybody seeing any more information on X? Oh, another government guy just bought Iran. CEO Fields just filed new stock trade. He bought more Iran worth about 100,000. And then the U.S. is working with the EU on a trade deal again. That's back in talks. Trump confirms an April trip to China. That just came out 11 minutes ago. Yeah, with those insider, like I'm gonna do it right now. I'm about to double up with my Iren play. I think is a great play right now. All the so where is it? I'm gonna do it again. Option chain, February 20th. Where is it? 38. Ten more contracts. And I can get 242 now. So let me see. Let's get better. 245. So I'm doing the same contract, just getting the more premium that's up to date right now. With the two inside guys, I got 245 was my fill. With the two guys, another person buying 245, just 220. I'll put 10, yeah. Sorry, just wanted to send that alert out. With those two guys inside the office that both have to deal with, one deals with energy, I do believe, and the other one now deals with whatever the heck that just said. Hold on, let me just pull it up. Okay. Buying up to another 100,000 in shares of Iran. Like, he doesn't just, these guys don't just buy stocks they know nothing about. There's clear, they trade to their advantage. As far as Amazon goes, I mean, Amazon is one of the top Mag 7s for sure. Um, and remember, I can't tell you to sell or not to sell, but what's the weekly consensus? Overall weekly still showing fair amount of positive momentum, as you can see. So this is how you can, again, same way, histogram. See this? I didn't see this. I mean, like, overall, you were trending up there, and then you were trending up here. So, like, overall, momentum has shown, but you do have, again, longer term, the momentum is strong, but not that strong. Okay. So you're coming up to this little wedge of momentum as well. You're either going to break out and go a little higher, which you would see here, or you're going to break down and come down and kind of retest, kind of like this one was. Boom. Okay. Which would send you right back to probably this trend line here. Overall, I think Amazon's going to be just fine. It's whether or not they say tariffs are affecting their company. Again, we're blindsided constantly with this tariff news and whatever. So overall, I would say Amazon still has a little higher to go, but it depends. I don't know when you bought and everything like that. I'm not touching Zeta as far as Zeta goes. Just personal preference. I mean, you're right on the bull bear line, so I would assume, but the weekly, look at the weekly, has not told you anything that this is reversing in any way. Okay, so daily went right back. MACD's not even close to curling up. So I think you still got a minute on this one. You still have 2 weeks till earnings. So if you're bullish on Zeta, I mean, yeah, then CSPs would probably be the way to go for sure. Trump tweeted, yeah, soybeans, talking to them, talking to Europe. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that can always reverse this market and get us back on track a little bit, but I'm doing CSPs to protect everything right now. Give me time to roll, collect more premium, do what I got to do. We see a recovery, like I said, tomorrow, then I'll take my profit. I will take my profit on my CSPs. I got no problem taking quick, little, easy profits. HIMS, CSPs are good. Personally, if I have a CSP, I'm hoping to get assigned before earnings and the Super Bowl's this weekend. So last time it had a Super Bowl ad, it ran from $25, $30 to $60, $70. So pretty quick. The Super Bowl traffic, basically just seeing how much traffic is sent to the website based on the commercial and how good the commercial was. Um, Huge factor. So they can just send it because everyone believes that the web traffic is going to generate sales. So it can quickly flip the script. Hims with their report today came out was amazing. So like again, my stance has not changed. The market is taking Hims down. There's nothing we can do about that. But overall, Hims I'm good with. Iran CSPs I'm doing because again it can fall. Trying to protect as much risk as possible. Although if it does go up, my returns aren't as big as if I would have just bought it. But right now you need to protect yourself more than you need to be worried about the potential big gains you could be getting, because nothing tells us that we are about to just skyrocket. And same thing, I know this has been a hot name and we were talking about it, but overall momentum is still shifting down. Oklo, okay. We didn't get we got this, but again, it was neutral. That's why I said I don't like to listen to these neutral candles. But if you already own the stock and stuff like that, but like I don't want to get in on a neutral candle, and it's rode this down. So glad that we didn't end up taking this trade. Trusted my gut, trusted the strategy. ONDS is getting to the point. I need this. I want it down here, and then I want to do like a 7 CSP or something like that. Let's see here. Any questions about anything? Strategy wise, questions you've had about like trading stocks yourself or something that you've ran into an issue? Just going through the chat room saying. Checking the other chat. And sometimes the best thing to do is just to walk away from your computer or walk away from your phone. Don't even look at it. Okay? Bury your head in work. I got work to do after this live stream, so I will just have my head buried and I'll set an alert if Iran maybe goes up 5 or 6%. ONDS. He was trying to flip positive before, couldn't do it. We're going to get this back testing done too. I'm working on it. I'm trying to make sure. It's just having a really hard time canceling out these neutral candles. I don't know why TradingView has a hard time identifying a color of something and not listening, basically. The only reason I would sell anything Bitcoin related is if you don't believe in Bitcoin. I don't like to just take losses to take losses. There has to be a reason I don't believe in it. The same reason I haven't sold SBET and I'm down 50, 40%, just like you. Most people are. I believe in Ethereum long term, so there should be no reason to want to get rid of something and just take a 40% loss. Is my thought. That's how I'm processing it. But again, don't invest any money you're not willing to tie up for a while. Don't, like, should only trade with money that you don't need for the next year in case that scenario happens. If you need the money, then you need to set tight stop losses. Do you guys know about a trailing stop loss? Have you guys heard of that? They have it on they have it on Robinhood. They have it on most brokers. Okay, so you can always do a trailing stop loss if you wanted to. Um, but yeah, that's how your mind has to change completely on exactly what um the company does essentially. You got to not believe in the company anymore for me to take my loss. Um, let's see here. Yeah. Anything else? This is going to be every Wednesday, and then we're going to do one on Sunday where everyone can talk and do the live stream inside of Discord. Okay. Where we can talk about the market, talk about plays, we can all communicate. So that'll be Sundays, and then Wednesdays I'll kind of go over what the market's doing, some plays that I'm in, explain a few things. I go into everything with the mindset of investing. Um, because if I go into the mindset of trading, the market can manipulate me. I don't like to be made a fool. So I go into the mindset that I'm investing in a company long term. Basically, do I like this company? Do I see positive things from them in a year to 3 years? Um, I go in with that mindset. Then, when opportunities present themselves, sorry, when opportunities present themselves, I will trade the stock. Okay. For example, um, ONDS, for example, I believe in long term. Now we get these big spikes. I will have no problem selling it because I know the following day it could potentially just go completely red. Um, so, like, I go into the mindset that I only want to buy companies I'm willing to invest in long term. And then when trades happen inside of that long term um, outlook, I make trades. So I'm willing to trade, but I'm only willing to trade on companies that I want to invest in because if the market took a downturn, I'm not worried about the company because I went into it knowing that in in a year, the company will be in a better place. So that's how you stop yourself from basically getting into companies that you don't believe in and taking losses. Um, for example, SBET. I believe that Ethereum in 1 to 3 years will be higher than we've seen so far, all time highs. I think in 1 to 3 years we will be higher than we've ever been. Therefore, SBET, in the grand scheme of things, if they don't dilute during hard times too much, we should at least get back to our cost basis and go way past that. Um, but I don't just trade, like, I wouldn't just go on this list and be like, GT, you know, I mean, again, gave me a buy signal, yes, but I am not just buying it and doing a trade. I'm only trading companies that I am truly interested in that I would believe in long term. So that's how I really kind of do both, right? Like I'm investing in these companies. If I buy and I'm down, I'm not just selling it. But if it gets back up and then I see some red, market coming into play, then I'll go ahead and sell it and trade it. Um, but I'm going into it with the mindset of over time, long term, this company is going to be better. I don't like to just trade companies to trade companies. Um, Something had to happen. Staying down, staying down. Anything on X? Because all I saw when I just did that X, like, quick glance, it didn't look terrible with news coming out. Let me just see. PayPal, HIMS, cancer screening, employment change, phone call with Trump, treasuries. Sorry, just going through trying to see what's going on. Gold retraced half the losses already last week. Silver's retraced the last week indeed blew the top off. Caution is warranted on these DCBs, gold, silver, app down, open, coming down, testing, getting tight, getting tight, getting tight. We got a lot of bear cases on trend spiders. So overall, yeah, I think that we see a few more pops here and there. We will get that market correction that everyone's been talking about. That's guys. Every year there is a 10% correction. Every year is a 20% correction. 4 times a year on average, there's a 5% correction. Um, so it's normal to happen. Um, we just it's part of the investing thing. The only thing you can do is protect yourself on the risk side, which is going to be cash secured puts during this time is the best way. If we were down, so for example on Iran, if this was already down here in here, I would just wait for the diamond. Since I don't think we're going to get all the way down here unless the market does its full correction, but earnings tomorrow could easily erase all of this with an announcement of a partnership, whatever it may be. Um, I would do CSPs now, trying to see if I can get juicy premiums on a rebound, or I will get to buy it for this area where we should have been buying initially before I had the system completely up and going. So, and then if we get this down here to 38 by February 19th, 17th, 12th, anything, if we're down here but well before my expiration date of February 20th, I will roll. I will roll till March 20th. So we can easily protect. I think on everything we see a deep correction coming. Yeah, I think there's nothing that told me that we aren't going to see this deep correction coming. So here's this trend line. This is the trend line I would follow. This was a close trend line, but I'd follow this one. That's why I put the one previous trend line on there. So here would be the trend line. So another 7 points. So let me grab the measuring. Turn off this magnet. So another 1%, but off of our the high that we just were at. I mean, there you go. It's a normal 5% correction, guys. We see 4 of these on average a year. This 5% correction. Okay, and then we bounce off, and we'll be fine. Bigger correction comes into play. What was the bigger correction? This one. 10%, 9%. Let's see here. Let me grab the fib levels. Well, golden Fibonacci is going to land us right on that trend line by February 12th. If that's where we're going to hit. So that would be the next best. So basically to the golden Fibonacci is the 5%. To the next Fibonacci is the 7%. And then the next Fibonacci would be somewhere right around here, which would put us right to the same correction we had November, December time, buy zone. So I will sit in these CSPs and better my buying opportunity and wait for the correction. I'll roll. I'll just keep rolling if we keep going down and there's no sign of a reversal coming. And we can do that. But this is why throughout, I don't know, the past 2 weeks we've been talking about is when the stock gives you an opportunity, take your wins. Take your wins. We are coming up to points where, corrections or bigger corrections are going to start coming and taking places. Look back the past 5, 6, 7 years. Between January and April, there is typically a pretty big correction that comes into play. This might be the small one, so we can bounce higher to then do the bigger one. Okay, so just like I said, prepare yourself. Take your wins. I'm not saying the world is falling because I'm not a person that says sell everything, abandon everything, because the people who just always say I'm going to wait for the next buying opportunity always tend to never buy because they don't know when the next buying opportunity is because the market doesn't always give a perfect buying opportunity. Okay, so and the terminology has been the case for many, many years has always been it's better to be in the market than time the market, which is the case and why we do CSPs is because I'm in the market. We're in the market doing CSPs. I'm not trying to time it, but I am not willing to just throw my money in and try to ride the bottom waves as much. Okay. So CSPs allows us to kind of protect our capital while we wait for the market to kind of feather out whatever noise that's going on. But the same thing, and I put it in there in the past that when Warren Buffett 2008, everyone's like, "How much did you lose? Like your portfolio?" He goes, "Well, I didn't lose anything because I didn't sell anything. You only lose if you sell it." So he just holds through all the noise, and that's why he's by far the most successful investor ever. I don't think anyone in our lifetime will come close unless he's leveraged. I wouldn't say the guys who do leverage 50 times multiples are the better investors. They just happen to grab one that worked and then the next one they didn't work. So hit or miss on that one. But long-term investing, um, good morning. You think we're going to get a bigger correction? I think that the 5% correction seems right. The 600 retest right here, which is a mental number, 600 on the QQQ. Overall, what do I think? We've seen a lot of chopping. This is already kind of drifting down. What is this? This was the April moment. This is so hard because this was a flash crash, but it wasn't. It was self-inflicted by our president, basically, putting fear. It's terror fear. Overall, I would say this year is going to be the year to make sure you take your gains. Because yeah, I do think we are going to get a bigger correction. I don't think the big correction happens before our new Fed chair cuts interest rates. Again, it's not completely up to his decision, but I would imagine that interest rates get cut significantly. I would say they maybe get cut drastically to 1% real quick. The market booms. I would say they would increase interest rates back up to like 2.75 or something like that, a point lower, but they would increase it back, right? Because they're going to lower it. Everyone's going to get to do their refinancing, do everything they want, and then we need to increase it so that way people aren't out there spending too much, causing any issues similar to what we've already kind of dealt with. The American people don't include yourself in this, but in general, the American people are not very good with their finances. Therefore, when interest rates get cut to 1-2%, people will go ahead and refinance, and then they'll say, "Oh, wow, I'm saving now $800 a month." And then what they'll do is they're going to go find a way to spend $800 more a month in another loan or debt. Typically, they do not just stop. So that is where I think it's gonna cause a double down. Like basically, we're in a bad financial situation. Okay, we're gonna make it better temporarily. People are gonna go ahead and get more debt, and which is gonna stack on top of their current debt. Then the rates are gonna go up, and all the issues are gonna come to the surface, and then the bigger downward movement is going to happen because all we did was just temporarily make it better. And while the people that were smart made their scenario actually better and sustainable, the others added to the issue without realizing it. And then the situation basically just doubled down. And basically, we're just kind of doing what 2008 basically did with hiding a debt issue or foreclosures, the home issue. Basically, we're doing the same thing, just in a whole nother sector, and it's not homes. It's just debt in general, and I think that will be the cause of it. Because if you can see that Trump puts out a tweet and it just manipulates the market completely, which he will do to be not known as a president with a failing market. Um, were you not in April market for this much blood? If you aren't seeing the chat, you got to be in the Discord seeing the chat. You didn't see this much blood in April? There was far more blood in April. Trying to figure out what I want to do with ONDS, to be honest. Just want to take a look at the options here. Like, owning ONDS in the 8s sounds amazing. Good amount of support here. Then, if this is lost, then 6, 5, 6, 6 comes into play. By the time it gets there, I would imagine this moves up. There's a new thing I'm also working on. There's a few things we're working on behind the scenes. Being one of these. I actually just like the middle band, but the top bands. So basically, like, these are targets and kind of like hits. But basically, this band tells us when we're in a bull or bear area, but doesn't so far work with the strategy completely. So I'm just trying to work on that right now. ONDS is attractive at this point. There we go, 8. Yep. Seems about right. 8. So that's where we got to be. So probably would have to go to March to get that kind of like good return. And you'd have to do the 9 strike, which would get you into the 7s. 780 would be your break even on ONDS. March 20th. You can do it. You'll get 10 cents better, but the stock would have to be under $8 to get these shares. So like this is the safe way to play it, and then a more aggressive way with more time would be doing the $9 way for the $1.20. Any other stocks you guys are thinking of doing a CSP or anything on, or just trying to buy it? This is a big reason I also did another order on IREN, another government insider buying IREN. That's huge. PGY. Besant. Tariffs do not cause inflation. Trump probably said everybody start putting out tweets to try to make this market stop this. Trump pulled 700 agents, as I'm assuming that was probably part of the government shutdown agreement. Oh, this is what a lot of people believe right here. We see this pullback to this 45 area, and then long-term target by the end of this year, the stock will be $150. Okay, this is a lot of people believing in this. So this is not just one chart. There's a lot of charts, a lot of good analysts on X that believe that is where it is going. So that's why I don't mind owning it. If I can get it for 38, which I doubt it, but if I can, I have no problem owning it. Hold it for a year. We get to 150. I mean, that's going to be a 5-bagger basically. So I got no problem with that. That's my goal. Okay. I believe in Iran data. Can the market ruin it? Yeah, but long term, Iran data centers. Trump is pushing for them. They're going to get government contracts, Amazon, blah blah blah, and so on. ONDS government contracts are going to be coming. Um, let's just look and see what everyone's got here. We're getting into the demand zone. He has 10. He's got somewhere in the nines demand zone. Yeah, there's a lot of demand for ONDS there. So this is what I do. I look up tickers all the time and go figure out what everyone's kind of talking about, see, and then I obviously pull up our chart and see. Because if the more you can get more charts to line up with each other, seeing that it's a good idea, the more confident you feel, the better it feels. Um, Conservative 12-month price targets. 16 conservative, 27 is bullish. I have 18 to 24. United Health, yeah, I mean that's a long-term healthcare headwinds for them. Same thing with NBO. Yep, that checks out. Zeta, I'm out on. That checks out. That checks out. Yes. And yeah, I'm good with it going back to 75. Go ahead and just give me a nice double up. I think it could easily be 100 shorter term, 6 months or so. Oh, that didn't help. So Wasp didn't make it. ONDS Wasp didn't make it onto the drone dominance program, but Performance Drone Works did, along with 25 other names, Katos being one of them. Reminder: ONDS invested 35 million into PDW back in November. So took a little bit of a hit. Shorts are definitely piling in on ONDS. Yeah, I'm fully out on Zeta. Yep. I have a little bit of an insight on the industry as a whole. Um, and I'm sure it could be good for a trade and everything, but as far as when I think 1 to 3 years out, or 5 years out, it's just not something I'm really interested into. Marketing side of things, I see Amazon and Meta just being the top guys when it comes to marketing. Of course, there's always going to be some little guys around there, but um, I don't know. Just not into market companies. I'm not into payment processing companies like Sezzle that people are talking about, or Payo, or there's another one for payment processing. I don't know. It's just certain fields that I'm not really interested in. Um, pretty I like healthcare. I like my tech. I like defense, space. Not just because they're hot this year, but like those are just the typical names and areas that I like. They're just exciting, I guess, more exciting. If I can't really get excited about what the product you have, like ONDS, I'm like, that's a sick drone. I'm like, yeah, that's, or Archer, I'm like, I want to take a ride in that thing. And they're doing everything right, management and everything. So I'm like excited about it. Not super excited about AI marketing company. Um, what is up so much? Oh, the energy company. Energy's the top sector. Um, Buying more soybeans. So, anything else you guys want me to look at before I go ahead and hop off? I'll still be obviously in the chats and everything like that, but I do have some other work. ADP reports U.S. payrolls rose by 22,000 January, below expectations. Maybe their reporting was off. Who knows? I'm sure there'll be some sort of excuse coming soon. HIM's revenue versus stock price. Yep, I would say that they would be considered undervalued. I'll just continue to hold. So, anything else from you guys? Questions? Again, Sunday we're gonna do the live stream, and then you guys will have open mic and everything, and we'll just talk and kind of go over some things and see how everyone's doing. But my goal is to help you guys. Our strategy, like I said, is being fully built out. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Where's my trading view? There it is. So working on the strategy as a whole, like I said, and going to get this going. I want them to get rid of the trades and everything. Oh, work's calling me. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off and get helping with my other job. So I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Thanks.